Welcome to the Kid and Drag Gaming Podcast. This is Kid.
And this is Drag. Remember, if you're enjoying the content, go check us out on our socials. Follow us so we post our latest updates. On Instagram, you can look for us at Kid in Drag. On Facebook, same thing, Kid in Drag. If you're follow us on Twitter, go for Drag Kid In. Also, check out our website at kidindrag.chat. You can find all of our latest episodes. All of our stuff is out there. You can contact us. We can get direct feedback from you and help you get the content you want to hear. Now, let's talk about all the stuff you want to talk about. All right, today we're going to talk to you a little bit about SCUM, and I mean SCUM the game. So the premise of this game is you're basically, if you think of the Running Man back in the day, that's going to give you kind of a setup, right? So here is the About SCUM official title, trailer, blurb, if you will. SCUM is an early access open world survival game. You are a Supermax prisoner who is picked up by entertainment giant Tech1 to participate in their television sensation SCUM. Inmates fight for survival and fame against other inmates, both living and dead. And to gain the support of viewers, producers, and sponsors, SCUM features an unprecedented level of character customization tied to in-depth survival, biology, physics, mechanics, including metabolism, inertia, wetness, and awareness. Your life sentence is about to become your 15 minutes of fame. So when you're hearing that, what are your initial thoughts on that, Kid?
A lot of time, a lot of dedication, and a lot of fun.
Yep. So if you kind of think of like Hunger Games and kind of the fad that's brought on, that's a lot about what I feel about this game, right? That you're out there dumped on this island. You do have a lot of prison structures or whatnot, but it's open world, max of 64 simultaneous players or whatnot. So you can basically team up. You can make your clans very similar to your arcs or your 7 Days to Die, and some of these other things that integrate in with this. But where SCUM for me has really gone off the radar and just really blown that whole genre apart, or is coming to, is it's really an alpha right now, right? I'll call it early beta, late alpha. You essentially have so much character interaction. Like when you look at the actual gameplay, and figuring out how to levelize so you're at the perfect health and your most optimum strength and all this stuff, there are literally 50, 60, 70 different customizations in there. Like if you eat this, it literally goes into depth that you have to digest it, right? You don't immediately get the gains from eating something that's more simulated to real life, where you take a bite and then you wait and you wait and you wait, and then it starts feeding into your system. So all these things play. And everything that you do in the game basically is developmental, right? So you can shoot a gun, but you shoot for crap at first until you shoot over and over and over and your skill increases. So that's kind of overall, the in-depthness of the game is just unbelievable, right? There's so much that you've got to go through.
Yeah, just a disclaimer, I have yet to play this game. Dragon X have been playing it, and I'm watching the video right now. And it's very, very detailed as far as the environment. Like I'm looking at 3-leaf clovers right now. The guy's taking a leak as we speak, and I'm pretty sure I seen him taking a poo earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you buy the Kickstarter kit or the developer bundle, when you poop, you actually poop out random objects as like a bonus. That's how you get them out.
Oh my God. So yeah, this game looks great. Definitely open world. Your farm up stone, wood, and you said you build like structures, buildings, or is it like presets?
You do a little bit of both. So they have like a preset cabin, which is pretty normal, but then you design your own base layout because you build your walls, any structure you want, any shape, and you get traps or some minor traps in there to kind of defend the base. It's not like actively shooting or anything, but they've got like the wood spike traps and things like that.
Now, this is a zombie game?
Yeah, so in the game, they call it puppets. So it is pretty much a zombie in all practical purposes, but you got these little tags in the back of your head. So you're playing against this computer driven, this Tech One entertainment company or whatever, and they are putting corpses out there that they reanimate and are computer controlled. So they're constantly pursuing you. Just call it a zombie. It's easier to do than anything, but they call them puppets in the game.
So, what kind of guns are we talking about are involved in this so far that you've dealt with?
So the list is it's pretty common to what you would see in most Call of Duties or stuff like that. You've got obviously if you've got some knockoff names. They've got the Block 21, which is a 45 caliber pistol, a Deagle 357, a Deagle 50. They've got an improvised handgun, which is something that you can craft that you don't find. There's a mixture of crafting the weapons and survival things, as well as things that you find with these random loot drops and stuff like that. They've got like a 9mm, and that pretty much rounds out the pistols. Then going in, they've got a couple shotguns, an M1887, a TECO-1, which is a knockoff of, that's the in-game entertainment companies, these TECO-1s, and you can craft one shotgun. Then rifles, they've got like a 22 rifle, a CAR 98, an M1891, M1, M82A1, SVD, then AK-47s, AKS-74U, AS Vals, M16, MK18, MP5. Then you've got a couple grenades, smoke grenade, a flashbang, and a regular grenade. And they've got some that are planning to be built, but that's all in the gun realm. And the other weapons, they've got bows. They've integrated some, different pound bows. So if you're a hunter, you'll understand what I'm saying. But they got the 50-pound bow, 60-pound, 70-pound, 80-pound, 90-pound, 100-pound recurve, and they've also got a compound bow.
So, since you've been playing, what has been your favorite? Do you do the bow? Is it just because it's easy to get ammo for it, or is there like ammo is plentiful for the guns?
Ammo is not plentiful, so you're going to be grinding that out. You'll occasionally find like a box of 10, 20 shells, and you can craft it, which you got to have multiple ingredients to craft. So I'm not like afraid to shoot them by any means of the word. It took me probably like, as you've been, picking up resources through the game, just to go make 200 rounds of ammo took me like an hour and a half just to collect it all into one place and drive it down and create it. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So with that being said, is there like hordes of zombies, one or two, or is like as the game advances they get crazy?
So this depends on your server settings, right? Because I think right now our server with DEFCON1 is set to 64 max zombies on the map at one time. And it's a huge map, okay? I can't express that enough. The map's huge. It literally, if you get in a car at full speed, drive across it, it's like a 15-minute drive.
Wow.
So it's huge. But when I'm saying 64, generally what I'm seeing is like after a night, they'll spawn more up. And as it comes into daylight and whatnot, you're going to run into onesies, twosies. Then you get into town, but they're sound sensitive. So you run into one, you get in a fight, then they'll start coming at you. And I've got a nice little screenshot where I ran in through a town and this horde started chasing me because I hit one. He made a noise. No, I shot it. That's what it was. I shot my gun, which alerted them all. And I'm like sprinting to my truck, jump in, and then I took a screenshot. And there's like 9 zombies piled up on my truck, just beating the shit out of it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. I noticed it's pretty in depth and detail on heart rates, like how much water,
Uh-huh.
storage of fat. It's like, man.
Yeah, it's pretty in where it's in alpha. I don't see everything that affects me, but however, if you dehydrate, you just die. Like that, you always got to have water. Food you can kind of run a little bit leaner on, and you start moving slower and things like that. It's starting to impact you, but yeah, it goes down into, I don't know, what is there, 16 or 18 different vitamins that you have to monitor. So what you're eating is changing your vitamin balance, and you can actually go vitamin deficient and start losing energy and speed and stamina with those things too.
Yeah, so far what I've seen is it's in third person, but you can alternate at any time into first person.
You can.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah, I play, yeah, and it's a simple enter click jumps you over into there. Like when you're shooting, and I'm finding it pretty helpful to use in the first person, even when I'm doing melee combat. But when you're shooting, you definitely jump down into first person. It's definitely made to play with both actively. You don't want to, I think if you're dead set on playing one way or the other, you're going to miss some components of the game. But yeah, I'd zip down into first person anytime I'm shooting, and it gives me a, sight down the sights of the gun or whatever, or you're basically hip firing otherwise.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. He actually just went into first person, and yeah, it's just like Call of Duty where you're down iron sight. So that's
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Yep, and you can craft, and it's like, and when I went through those list of guns, you got to remember, like you might find a gun, and then it might be a day and a half later you find a clip to put in that gun. And much to real life, if you don't have a clip, you can load one shot at a time.
So do you just run up to trees and start hacking away at them for wood, or how's that work?
The very first start is you're going to pick up a couple stones, and you can get 2 stones off the ground. They're pretty plentiful. It's not like you're hunting around for hours to find them. You craft a stone knife, and then you can start cutting into the smaller trees. Then you can craft with trees. You can start turning into rope. Then you can craft an axe. Then you can start cutting down trees and start collecting up those resources. The crafting menu is pretty ridiculous. It's not, um, man, I'm going to say north of 60 items that you can craft.
Okay, so you did say that like you can make walls and like specific buildings, so you could build up like 5,000 feet in the air if you wanted.
I have not been able to build off the ground. It has like a palisade is if you think of it more like a base than a building, right? So you can put a palisade wood wall. It's got little spiky wood tops that you can't jump over. You can build that around your base area. That's pretty much any shape. But you can also claim existing buildings, right? You can go up. When I mentioned the fame points before, when you do something like kill an animal, you kill one of the zombies, you kill another player, you get these fame points, and you can actually use those fame points to purchase a door on an existing building so you can lock it to you and protect your stuff. Or you can build your own and put locks on that locks it out from other players. Being it's open world, I mean, people can raid you overnight, all that kind of stuff, right?
So the guy was talking about earlier how it's more of a RPG aspect game versus all the day one Z and etc. of the games. What all RPG elements are in this? Like, do you just get strength and charisma and luck and all that stuff?
Yeah, and there's a lot. So I mean, you got to look at your skills when you very first start the game. You got and this is where definitely the childish part of this comes in. Okay, because you got to have some understanding that this is a fairly rough game. I'll say it that way. So you start customer or customizing your character when you start. If you're a female and you make your breast too big, you get dumber. If you're a male and you make your Johnson get bigger, you get dumber, right? So
Oh,
you lose intelligence points. If you change the age of your character, like you lose strength if you go older, but you also get smarter. So that gives you different components. So it kind of goes down into a little bit of what do you want to call it? A little bit of maybe stereotypical things that are going in there. Okay. So good, bad, or indifferent. You're starting off that way. However, you're not locked in there forever. Okay. Whenever you have developed and you built up your character, as you enact any of these things, you start increasing your skill points. And a good example of that is your driving skill. Okay, there's a bunch of cars scattered around. You got to find them, loot them, and all that stuff. But then you use it to transport, use it to drive around, and just move around the map much easier. Well, when you start off, you can only drive like 80 kilometers an hour, and it's loose. You're sliding all over the place. It just looks like crap, right? I mean, you're just terrible. However, as you advance in that skill, you become where you can drive faster, you can make corners better. You can do all these things pretty well. So the number of just skills that you're going to grow in the strength category, there's boxing, rifles, melee weapons, handgun, and archery. Then you've got second category, you've got resistance, running, and endurance. dexterity category, you've got stealth, thievery, driving, and throwing. And then in intelligence category, you've got animal handling, awareness, sniping, camouflage, survival, medical, tactics, and cooking. So quite a few just components that you're going to be leveling up.
So on something like this, is it you get with your friends and you're like, all right, you're gonna be the Rambo, I'm gonna be the Gatherer, or is it like you can make your character all in one?
It's pretty much going to be all in one because you're going to develop these as you go along, right? It'll have some components of one or the other when you very first start, but anything that you do, you're going to increase towards it. So I think your character will naturally grow to that because, like, I was one of the first ones to get driving skill up and medical because I drive a lot and I get hurt a lot, so I'm always healing myself. So my medical and my driving skills went up real fast. Okay. Whereas like sniping, I haven't gained a point yet in sniping. However, with melee weapons, I'm already at the max level in the first week of play.
Right. So on this video, it says event starts in a minute and a half. So do they do like daily events, weekly events that you got to do, or they just randomly pop up?
So this is kind of the cool thing. This is it's not probably what you would typically do. So you got to imagine you're on this huge map. You know, it takes 15, 20 minutes to cross it in a vehicle running 130 kilometers an hour, right? Big map. Well, what you can do is you can actually create a death match in the game and people just randomly join. Doesn't even matter if you're in the same clan or not. Everybody just jumps in and then they put it in a sector and say, hey, whatever team of convict kills as many people as possible, that team deathmatch ends if the max kills counter is reached for the match or the time ends, right? So you can just enroll in a mini game during the course of the play, which we're going to do that this weekend. We haven't done that yet. We started off playing kind of a PvP version where we took, there's 8 of us in there. We all know each other in some shape or form. And we've kind of split the teams apart that were 2 clans. However, during the death match, we can completely mix those teams up, meet at this random sector, and go at each other, right? Kind of just a mini game during the middle.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, what has made you rage so far in this game?
Well, you have all these, your loot is not just everywhere. You might go through and open up 20 things. You might get 2. Okay, so looting is kind of a big deal, and you've got to travel quite a ways. Well, one place that we find that has, or it's not one place, they're scattered all over the map, but they're mech controlled, like bunkers or airfield or whatnot that is supposedly manned by these mechanized robots that work for this company that you're playing this video game for, right?
Like the police?
Yeah, they're kind of like the police. However, well, you say that. If you think about RoboCop, when not the regular RoboCop, but those other the second line RoboCops back in that movie, that's kind of what these mechs look like. They're huge. They're like twice as tall as you are or more, and they've got laser sights. So anytime you get in their sight, they'll just gun you down. Boom, you're done.
Do you find them often?
Whenever you go look for them, they're stuck in these mech controlled facilities. So your purpose to go there is to go get better loot and raid. However, you can't. There are talks of people fighting them, but what I'm reading, you take the most powerful gun in the game, you're going to pump 400 plus shots into that mech to kill it.
So it's going to take you 15 hours to get the ammo to destroy one.
Oh, a lot more than 15 hours. A lot more than 15 hours. So, but what you do is they're very line of sight. So you got to sneak around behind them, dip, dive, dodge, and all that kind of stuff. And that's probably the thing that has pissed me off the most is I would have like a good, clear line of sight. I had a plan to go in there. I'm taking off. I'm doing my little sneaky deal to get in behind him. And I'm running, and a freaking zombie comes up and hangs me up right in the middle of like a very critical time. That boom, I'm dead. You're starting over with no gear, no anything. Right.
So is that what happens when you die? You lose everything you had on. You got to go recover it.
Yeah, you can go recover it from your body. It depends because, like, if you're in a mech controlled facility, Like you literally have split seconds to do stuff. So a lot of times, I mean, right now in a facility, which location will remain unnamed and unlocated right now, if I go up there, I've probably got 2 or 3 bodies scattered around there with full kits on them because I can't go. I don't have the time to strip them down and collect all their stuff.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty much out there. You know, it'll respawn you all over the map or anywhere, just depending on what you select. And I'm back down to my skivvies, what I started in.
Yeah, so far this game looks really good. I'm definitely looking forward to checking this out. Like I'm watching these two guys boxing right now. Have you
Mhm.
done any of that?
Yep. So the boxing is one of the skills that you get right away. So I'm boxing. You can. I mean, it's recommended to go ahead and get some kind of weapon to start off, so the zombies or the puppets don't kill you right away. But I box zombies all the time.
It almost seems like you'd have to with the way ammo is. So can you just go around plucking wood though for your bow like at any time? Like you can be
Yep.
stacked up on all that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't use the bow too much for normal fighting. That's usually for hunting because you got to eat too, right? So you've got deer, bear, boar, uh, horses, mules, donkeys, hogs out there that you can kill, cut up, and cook and eat and whatnot. So most of my weaponry is really for killing animals or people. Like for zombies, I just go for melee weapons, 100% so far. That's me. Because if you shoot a gun, it makes a bunch of noise. So it draws more zombies, gets you more crap. So
So is there
guns,
fishing? Is
uh,
there fishing in this game?
no, no fishing yet. The water play is pretty limited. Like you can swim, but you know you're carrying around kits of stuff. If you jump in the water fully kitted, you're just going to sink. And the only way
Gotcha.
to get out is you got to dump all your kit in the bottom of the lake. So it's not actually recommended.
So is there a big trap system?
No, not a ton. I wouldn't call it really a tower defense. Like you've got some towers that you can put up in man towers. There are some like wood spikes so far that have been integrated into the game. I kind of feel like there's going to be some more of that coming along because you got to remember you're an alpha. Literally, we played for like a week and a half. No, we weren't even in a week and a half. It was a week. We had just started kind of putting things together, trying to understand what the game's all about. And they did a complete server wipe. Everybody started over from scratch. So
This guy just ran up to a bear trying to box it.
yeah,
It did not end well.
that usually doesn't work very well. I can speak from experience on that because the bears will just straight up come maul you out of the blue, even if you're not chasing them. And the boar will do that too. So the boar and the bear have both rocked me pretty good once or twice.
Yeah, this guy's face is all jacked up, man. It's
Yeah,
like mincemeat.
yeah. And it is. I mean, that kind of stuff is very realistic too. I mean, you've got like literally, you when you're looting, you can find razors out in the wild. Well, you can take that razor and then give yourself a haircut or shave your beard. So right
So,
now, I'm rocking
so
like a foot long beard and a bald head.
yeah. So, like as time goes on, your hair just naturally
Oh yeah,
grows.
it grows. It
Okay.
grows rapidly for sure.
I see one guy's got a big beer belly. Is there beer in the game?
There is beer, but most of that's coming from character customization. So when you very first start the game, you kind of set your height and weight. I mean, not your height, but you set your weight, your muscular tone, you know, of course, your penis size and whatever. And all that affects like how you function. So you got these little sliders to say, hey, I want my body style to be this way. Well, if you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're too dumb to do anything, right? So it's not usually recommended. So you kind of mess around with it. And I would say first thing, like if you're ever playing this game for the first time, spend some time understanding your
You had
character
a big wing wing.
customization because I did not the first time I played and I couldn't
Oh
craft
my god.
anything because I was too dumb. Yeah, and they do have a willy warmer in the game. You know that's really a thing. So they actually have
So,
a sock that you can put on your Johnson in the game.
so with all this adult content, is there bumping uglies in this game?
No, none of that. But there is definitely a component in the game that allows you to censor some of the visual graphics or whatnot. That is a selectable option. However, this game is definitely for a mature audience. I mean, just the all the connotations that you have in a game, you definitely want to be a mature player for sure.
Yeah, it looks pretty. So can you walk around butt naked?
Oh, 100%. Do it all the time. In fact, I had a great time because they make these willy warmers, right? That has, like
Oh,
it's shaped like a snake and it has eyes drawn on it and everything. So in our first round, I waited. Everybody was off. It was all our friends playing or whatever, some from the DEFCON team. And I went inside the cabin that we created, and I jumped up on a dresser that they put in there and took my pants off, left my willy warmer on, and put it right
uh-oh.
by the door. And then I went to cook salsa or something. Like I was in a kitchen for a while. So everybody that logged on immediately went straight in the cabin and turned around, and guess what you got in your face?
Ain't nothing like logging in, running in to see how everything's going and seeing a willy warmer in your face.
That's right. I had to have a talking to after that one.
Oh man, how you doing?
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty fun. Like, and you got to remember, I got to give them mad props for the game being as alpha as it is. It is definitely enjoyable and fun. We have been playing. Once they had the server wipe, we broke the group up into two teams and two factions, and we're just open world playing. We're absolutely trying to snipe and kill each other, raid each other's bases. But the game is so big, there's no way we will ever find them. There's no way. I don't even think it would be possible, because you would literally have to run for days all over every square inch of the map to find their base. Because my own base that I know where it is and I built, I can't find the thing. Like, I know right where it is, and I still have to creep and crawl and look. And it's very realistic, very real world concealed, and pretty hard to just randomly run up on people.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game, and it's going to be interesting to see as it evolves and the new stuff they come out with, especially when you start getting into more tower defense. I think it's going to probably go that way just by the way you're talking, because I mean, it's so in depth. But it's going to be a good time. Be sure everybody to jump on there and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Games recommended. Now, with my game team, we're running an open world server. It's open for anybody. You can find us pretty easily by going to the the web server search and look for DEFCON1 Gaming -SCUM, and that will get you directly to our server. Feel free to jump in and play with us. We are an open community. We love to play with all kinds of people, and we'll make it fair. You don't have to come in here and die. We're not going to allow toxicity and all those kind of things, but we'll definitely pair you up and make sure there's room for you to have a good, enjoyable experience. But we're having a lot of fun with it. I encourage you to come check it out with us.
Is it password free?
It is password free. Just come on in and play.
All right. Be sure to, if you want to hang out and make Dragon X run into a willy warmer when he logs in, be sure to do that.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, come check us out on our webpage. You'll hear in the before and after clips, but go check out our webpage, follow us on all our socials, look for other things that we've got. We are definitely open to play with anybody. So if you want to come check out a really cool game, it'll make you feel a little silly. I think one of 09, who has been on the show before, his comment was, there's something about this game that just makes me feel like a little kid, because it's like we've got 8 grown men on there just cracking up the whole time over the crazy stuff that goes on.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great time. I look forward to playing with you guys. And until then, we'll catch you next time.
Later, guys.
Peace.
And that's all we got to talk about today, folks. This is Drag.
And this is Kid. If you enjoyed our cast, make sure and check out our website, follow our socials. We love feedback. If you give it, we'll talk about it.
You can find us at kidindrag.chat on our website. For Twitter, it's dragkidin. For Instagram, it is Kid and Drag. Same for Facebook, Kid and Drag. We take feedback on all of those social platforms, and we'll see you next time.
Later.